Oh no, they actually behaved. Holy moly.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Start this conversation. We got no relation.
The Power Agency is built for those who move like predators, decide like weapons, and execute like their life depends on it. You're either fully in, or you're invisible.
This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN talkradio.com. Esoteric.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome everyone to the author's Quill. I hope everyone's having a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are listening to us in your big, beautiful, round planet. I know we cross every time zone, and this particular show goes out to about 160 countries, so Welcome everybody out there. For all our friends in Australia, happy Sunday. I know you're over there listening on a Sunday. Well, it's early tonight for the UK listeners. What is it, 10 o'clock? 10:15. Yeah, look, y'all are catching me early. Usually I'm making y'all stay up till 2 in the morning to listen to me. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Kathleen and Mike. We'll get you in just a second. John, what kind of trouble you been getting into? I know you were in Dragon Con, just causing all kind of havoc is what I heard. Emily said you was a bad boy. So what was she talking about?
You didn't talk to Emily at all. I was a good boy.
I wrote her a secret message. Emily, I heard John was being a bad boy. What's going on?
It was a great show. We had almost 30 past winners there from Writers and Illustrators of the Future. There were, for the illustrators and the illustrators show, probably 10 illustrators had booths there.
Damn.
So it just grows each year, more and more people, because it's so respected as a contest, both writers and illustrators, that we get everybody in there. And we had multiple panels for the illustrators and for the writers. And people coming by and just, wanting to know more about it and wanting to enter the contest. And we recently included videos we did with Kevin Anderson, Rob Sawyer, and Nedia Corfor. So those are new videos we posted on the Writers Workshop. So anyway, it went really good. A lot of people, a lot of repeat business coming back. We got to get the next volume of Writers of the Future, get the earlier volumes because now they really like it. And mini panels. And there was one panel I was on IP, intellectual properties. I said, what do you got me for? I'm a publisher. And because there's 3 lawyers and me. And it was like, why do you have me on this panel? So I got in there and they said, so what do you do? And I said, well, we're a bit different. We just, we let all the authors and the artists keep all the rights to their stories and their art. And it's very unusual. And one of the lawyers that was there saying, yeah, whatever he says, whatever they say in Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future, you can trust them. You can listen to them. They're good people. And I didn't know who this person was. And it turns out she was good friends with Jody Lynn Nye. And so she knew all about the contest. And then I was on another one on editorial and said all these editors and then me again, why am I on this thing? And then I said, so what makes you different? And so I said, well, what we normally do is, because we don't edit people's stories, they turn the stuff in, we'll do, make sure that there's consistency is good, but otherwise we don't really change the story because we want people to win on their own merit. But what we do is we take a look if there's any commonality to errors and stuff, we'll do a video. And so we've got this online workshop that we created, and then we just posted 3 more videos of things that have come up as common problems of people writing stories and posted those. Said, okay, good. So what's the link? Where do they go to find it? How do they do it? So it became like out of left field. I became then with Writers of the Future the major focus of this panel on editorial. It's like these other guys, they talk about the 3 types of edits that you can have. But then the fact that what we did here, that makes us unique. And again, over 40 years, it's so well regarded at Dragon Con, which they capped it at 85,000 people, which is 85,000 unique people, not, 30 over the 3 days. But it was, it's just really, really good just how well it does. Every morning, Pat Henry, who's the CEO of Dragon Con, would come by with his box of Dunkin' Donut blueberry donut holes. And he'd come in there and he'd share with everybody and said, yeah, I'm sharing my donut holes with you, because they gave me a box of 90 of them. So I come here and share them with you. And then the winners are there doing the signings. And then they say, who was that guy? And I said, that's the CEO of Dragon Con. They went, what? So
the big chief.
Yeah, the big cheese himself. So they were like duly impressed that Rise of the Future and Illustrators of the Future is regarded so highly with the show. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be going to to FanX in Salt Lake, where we're equally as well regarded, because we also had the owner of that show as our keynote speaker a few years after Pat Henry was the keynote speaker. So, it's definitely a good thing, and it's an amazing legacy that these 2 winners that are about ready to be introduced have stepped into. And I got to say, I read both your stories yesterday. Once we found out you're going to be on this thing here, and I mean, I read a lot. I have to read a book a week for the podcast. So reading your 2 stories, I love feel good stories. You know, I like the new Superman because it's like old school. You know, you can have a real hero, and both of you like they're good endings, they're happy endings, and they come out okay. And kind of like, yes, that's the way I like stories. I mean, some people like whatever, but for myself, I really like both of your stories. So congratulations, kudos to both of you, and we'll be talking about not as much as we will once the book's published, but it's really, really good. So I'm anxious to dig around like how it is that you came up with your stories. And I have a bit of your backstory, Kathleen, and I've seen some of your.
Remember now, I haven't read these stories.
Which Mike has a newsletter too. What's that?
I said, don't be giving a story away. I haven't read them yet. Now, you see how he is, guys? He just likes to tease me. You see how he is? He's evil, man. He is evil. It's a good thing I like the guy because he's evil. I'm just telling you. Actually, I can't wait. I like feel good stories myself, so I can't wait to read them.
So anyway, so I'm old school, so girls first. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, and your college, or you finished college? Where are you with respect to college?
I finished college.
Okay, good.
Congrats.
So she's ready to finish that big, bold new world as a international best-selling author. So that's a pretty good way to start.
Hey.
And then Mike Strickland is also. You've been entering for a while, correct?
Only 4 times, so just since last year.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. The average is for an author is around 14 times.
Yeah,
it's give or take. I've been tracking them now for 7 years since I started with them, and it's about 14 times. Illustrators, it's a little faster. They're also a little younger too for some reason. Authors tend to be a little bit older than the illustrators. When I say a little bit, it could be anywhere from 25 to 70, but still, it's there's been some authors in there in their 60s and 70s, old people like me. So, John and I were born before the sun. In case y'all didn't know that, just to let y'all know ahead of time. It's but I can't wait to read your stories. I love a good story, good feel good story. There's not enough of them these days.
Yeah,
most of everything I read today is let's blow some stuff up. I ain't gonna use the language I would usually use, but let's blow some stuff up. Really, did we blow? Let's blow some more stuff up. Oh, okay. Well, you can only watch them or listen to so much of that, and besides, blowing stuff up in a book doesn't come over quite as well as it does on a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. How many times did you enter, Kathleen?
Ooh. I know it had to be more than 18.
Okay.
Well, so you write an average then. So you good.
She's got a great story of what inspired her on the story that she won with. Can you go ahead and tell that a bit?
Yeah, of course. So I've been reading the anthologies for several years now, just trying to figure out what makes the winning stories different, what they're looking for, what I can learn from them. And there's always craft essays included in every anthology. And the year I was reading, they had L. Ron Hubbard's essay, Circulate. And he's talking about why is it we always have to write about somewhere different, somewhere where we've never been, somewhere far, far away. And I thought about it and I said, okay, I've already written on, faraway kingdoms. I've written in stories set in London, stories set in New York, stories set in Iowa. I said, why don't I write a story that's set in the town where I went to college? Little Springfield, Missouri. There's not a lot of stories that happen here. And I said, but this is a place I know firsthand and I know really well. So the story that I finally finished was, I think it's equal parts old folklore and it's equal parts the real world.
Yeah. Her story is called Saffron and Marigolds, and Mike's is called As Long as You Both Shall Live, which is equally as good. But the saffron and marigolds, so it was like old folklore, and I'm like, wow, that's a fun. And the thing that makes Writers of the Future so good is that it's not like you have to invent a new genre or subgenre. It's like how well you can create a story newly in its own unit of time. They're like, that was really a fresh take on that. And what you did was so good. And your ending was just so delicious. Yes, that was like, I love that. That was such a good, perfect ending. So kudos to you on that one there. And obviously I'm creating a bit of a mystery here. Is what is that? And so there's one way you can definitely get the answer to your question, and that's when the book releases, and you can read Saffron and Marigolds, because it is just such a refreshing story.
Well, the book's still a good ways from releasing, though, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, it should be on multiple times. They'll both be on multiple times because they're both super fans.
Yeah, so it's well, I always get John to send me a copy so I can read it pretty early on.
As soon as I got something, I can send you.
Yes, because when they get something to get, I'll usually get it and I'll sit down. Because the one I got, there's a reader's copy of this. People still trying to get this copy. I'm like, guys, there's nothing special just because it has reader's copy on it. And they're like, oh no, you need to give that one away. I'm like, why? I'll never understand.
Because there's only like 30 of those things made. So
well, maybe that's why they want it. But I do give away an autographed copy every year. Because they do the autographs. They have a day when they do the autographs. But then I also at the gala I usually get I'll try to get family members to sign in the books as well. So I keep one for myself, which is the special one which will have y'all signatures, a lot of people from author services, even people at the gala event that are working the event. I'll get them to sign, and I'll get people's family to sign. So it's very special. So I keep those for myself, but I do give away just one that's been signed. I'll give away, one of those, and I'll give away whatever I got from John or whatever I manage to snatch when I leave. It's but I give those away, and people really like them because they have already signatures in them. The illustrators and the author signatures are all in there, and it all looks nice. They work one of those days. They're going to work y'all's hands off. I'm just giving you fair warning ahead of time. It's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Do your rest exercises for the autographing.
Yes.
So now Mike wrote this story, said, as long as you both shall live. So a little bit of like how you came with that one there, because it's I've been reading those types of stories with Rise of the Future for a while. But yours again was such a fresh, and I love the ending on it. So what's your like storyline and a little bit of description about it, and then I'll fill in any blanks in case you didn't mention this part. So go ahead.
About the story or about how I came up with it?
How you came up with it.
So that's kind of a bit of an original story, unusual story. I was coming to the end of March this year, coming up to the deadline with no story, no idea for a story. And literally 2 days before the deadline, the deadline was Monday night, and Saturday morning I woke up in the morning from a vivid dream, and the premise for this story came from that dream, and I got up and immediately started taking notes, and kind of came up with whatever I could in the moment. And then I kind of thought about it that day, and it wasn't really until Sunday I started writing. Again, this was the day before the deadline. Only wrote about 1,000 words, and then it was really that last day, Monday, I wrote the majority of the story, about 5,000 words, which is most I've ever written in one sitting. And I literally finished after 10 p.m., spent the next hour or so doing whatever edits I could and sent it off. And I never imagined that would win me anything beyond maybe an honorable mention if I was lucky. So.
Yeah, which is really a good point you're making there inadvertently, is that you're your own worst critic at judging what's good or not, especially at your stage of the game. So it's best to leave it up to the judges to decide if it's good or not. And so many times people say, oh no, your self-criticism is that fever pitch before you get that recognition. You haven't gotten into the imposter syndrome yet. You're below that. Once you get to where you've won, you've been out there, then the imposter syndrome kicks in, and then that will last for the next 2, 3, 4 decades. But otherwise, you've got, this isn't good enough. You just need to write and send it in. And then if it's not good enough, then you'll get whatever ranking you get. If you get like, thank you very much, submit again, or honorable mentions. Like honorable mention is the top 10%. So once every couple of weeks, I'll see press releases coming out on Rising Future saying, I won honorable mention as they're announcing the new novel. So it's a big deal to be able to get that recognition, and editors do that too now. And it's a big deal when a person can get honorable mention, silver honorable mention, and then up to finalist and semifinalist. But it's I think Dean Wesley Smith submitted his story that he got published in Rising Future, wrote it on the last day. Wolf Moon he wrote his story on the last day before submitting, and submitted like at 10 till midnight. It was just like,
yeah,
Friday night, 10 o'clock.
Wolf is a sexy bastard. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, he's the podcast that just went up today. So he's the one that just went out. But it's interesting that writers can be their own worst enemies. You need to just write, finish it. It's obviously got to be a story, and it's got to have some type of start, beginning, and end. But otherwise, to get into and just more edits, you just got to write and keep on writing. So you've, like you said, Kathleen, you said 14 times?
At least 18.
18 times? Yeah. And I mean, all the greats, especially back in the pulp days, the golden age of science fiction, and even up through the 50s and 60s, a lot of the authors were saying, be willing, a writer becomes a writer by writing. That's how you learn, and so you write, and then, okay, next one, next idea, next thing you're going to do here, and be willing to throw away your first 500,000 words to 1 million words. You need to build up a voice. So obviously you guys have established something with it. I mean, I love the stories, and they're similar to, but not the same as the stories that you're writing, those subgenres that you're writing in. They're unique to your own voices. So that was really, really good. So are either of you familiar with L. Ron Hubbard's fiction? You are. So do you have a particular favorite story, Kathleen?
Ooh. I'm going to try to remember the title of it. I do know what it is.
Well, what's the, tell me about, describe it, and I'll tell you the title.
I think it's Borrowed Glory. It's a short story.
Yeah. So that's like the dark fantasy.
Yes, I love that one so much. It was the first one of his I ever read, and it's still my favorite after all the others I've gone through. Yeah.
It's that one's just very, very intense, and like, oh my gosh, when you get to the end of it, it's like, it was such an amazing love story, but then how it moves along there.
And I got to plug Wolf since I brought his name up. See that? How to write a howling good story. There you go, right there. Wolf.
Yep.
Guys and girls, check it out. So there's a secret about Wolf. Somehow or another, Wolf's people managed to get in a winner a year. I don't know how he does it, man. I think I told him he should start charging people. He's definitely different, that's for sure. I like him. He's a lot of fun to talk to, though. He really is. I don't know. I had a lot of favorites when I had my pad with all L. Ron stuff on it, but now I'm kind of hung up. John gave me the audio version of Mission Earth, and I'm kind of stuck on it now. It's for an audio book, it was just really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The first book starts out a little slow, or the first part I was listening to starts out a little slow, but that's just character building. Once it gets going, it's really good. What do you mean, read it? I'm not going to read 10 books, James. That's never going to happen, but I'll listen. I'll listen to 48 hours, but I'm not going to read 10 books. It's just not, I'm sorry. I don't have that kind of time, but I do. So are they going to be an audiobook this year? Is 42 going to be an audiobook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing the next audiobook on that too. So you guys will all be able to get your audiobook. And what about yourself, Mike? Do you have a favorite?
I have not read a lot. I've not read any of his novels. I've read some of the short stories from the anthologies, and the one that is most recent to my mind and that I really enjoyed was Tough Old Man from Volume 41.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really well written in terms of the world building and the pacing, kind of the descriptions. I just really felt like I was moving through the story. Yeah.
Which story was the radio theater thing this year? Which story was that?
It was Tough Old Man.
Okay, that's what I thought. When he said,
that's what we had. Because what we'll do, whatever is the story that's going to be in Volume 42, we'll also do a radio show. We have the actors, because we're in Hollywood here, so we have lots of actors that love doing these shows. So they'll do the live performance of the story as well. And we do all the sound effects. And we do a special show just for the winners and judges, which some of the judges, the favorite part of the week is the radio show.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you have Orson Scott Card, that's his favorite part. Rob Sawyer, that's his favorite part. And of course, you'll meet these guys. Are there any particular judges you're looking forward to meeting next April?
Yes, I was thrilled. Well, I was thrilled for many reasons, but I was especially thrilled to hear that one of the judges who read my story was Tim Powers, and also to learn that he's going to be running the workshop. He's been a long-time favorite author of mine. So
good, yeah. 3 times World Fantasy Award winner. He's such a nice man.
Yeah.
I'll try not to be a fanboy. Yeah.
Well, don't worry about that. You'll get over it. Just embrace it, enjoy it, embrace it, and get over it.
Bring him an ice cold can of Coke. You'll make 5 points on his list right off.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Kathleen?
I think if I remember the story correctly, Kevin J. Anderson read one of my earlier stories and really, really loved it. So I can't wait to go meet him and see if he remembers seeing my name or reading the story.
Good. Absolutely. I'll be seeing him tomorrow. He's flying in tomorrow. There's a 150th anniversary of Edgar Rice Burroughs event that Emma and I are going to, and we're guests, and he's receiving a special award. So he's flying out from Denver and then coming in. So we're meeting up before the event, chat a bit. He was just in Atlanta at Dragon Con. He was at our booth and on our panel for Writers of the Future. He's a guy like, one thing I really enjoy, which you'll see how we are at Writers of the Future with you, is we love, we'll match you effort for effort on your career. So if you want to do stuff, do signings and do interviews, we're with you all the way, and we'll help you along there. Because I was there with Kevin at the beginning of his career, 30 years ago. And he'd call me and say, look, I'm going to be coming to Romans, which is a big independent bookstore in Los Angeles. Can you make sure there's people there? We'd work out getting a bunch of people coming to the book signing. That's with Brian Herbert, on Dune. And it was just like, they weren't known yet as the authors. It hadn't really had its big resurgence yet. So we'd come and we'd pack the place out. And he'd come to the San Diego Comic-Con. You see him walking with a box of books under each arm, going to the next signing. He's schlepping his own books. And it's amazing. It was just one of the hardest working authors, but he was constantly working to do more. And he's very prolific. He's now got a couple hundred novels that he's written, but we'll work with you, and so if you say, look, I really want to do it, we'll take everybody at their face value, saying, yeah, I really want to do it. Good. Then we will help you. There's people that, I think 2 or 3 of the guests you saw on the promos for the what you saw at the beginning of the show were past winners from Writers of the Future. So we'll work with people, and Joe totally loves working with the authors and artists that are wanting to, are serious about making a career out of what you're doing there. So if that's what you're really looking forward to, then, like I was with Nnedi Okorafor and just kept on following her career. I just really liked her a lot when she first won. She was a very young, writer on volume 19. I just tracked with her career. And then at some point she kept on getting. I said, would you like to become a judge? And so she transitioned over to becoming a judge. Same thing would happen with Kevin Anderson. Half our judges were previously people entering the contest. That, it makes sense now because it's been over 4 decades. So we'll work with you guys as well. If you want to keep on going, we'll work with you to do it. And when you come with your first novel, we'll have you be a guest on the podcast. You'll be on a guest on Authors Quill to talk about it and make it known. Like Joe says, you're what, over 150 countries?
Yeah, we're 163, I believe, on this show.
And just shy of 4 million listeners that are happening right now. Just shy of 4 million listeners are listening to us right now.
Last week was, what was it? 3942467.
Yeah, so 3.9 million listeners.
We're just a few thousand shy. it's the station does well because we have such a wide range. So in the U.S., probably 300 or 400,000 of those people are listeners. The rest of them are spread around those other countries. So it's a different type of market. Plus, we have a big audience in China, well, all of Asia. I always refer to China, but it's really all of Asia. We have a large audience, and then of course we even have 21 listeners now in North Korea. Don't ask. None of us know how we got them. They're just there. It started out with one listener like 3 years ago, and then it went to 3. It just one day it jumped to 3. I'm like, wow, 3 people. Well, who the hell is this? And then all of a sudden one day it was 7, then 9, then 11, then 12. Now it's 21, and I'm like, and who are this? Is this someone in politics over there listening, or is this some little group? Because they're not allowed to have internet over there. So I just, maybe they're picking us up from South Korea. I have no idea how they're getting this, but they're definitely listed as North Korea, which surprises me. But the network itself actually goes out to every country in the world. There's nobody we don't broadcast. It just depends on what shows. Certain shows are older and been around a lot longer, so they have a much wider range. I think UFO Undercover goes to every country on the planet, and then does well in all of them too. So it also has to do with topic too. So there's a lot of interest in authors. You'd be surprised how well the raw numbers do on this, and because we're spread out across 200 archive sites, so you might see like 50 on this site and 100 on that site and 500 on this site and 1,000 on that site times 200. It gives you an idea how many people actually listen to you in archives. And when we're running Google feature, which we're not right now, but when we are, it's an additional anywhere from 100 to 500,000 listeners. It's they switched over to Bitcoin, so we're having a little issue with that. But anyway, none of y'all's concerned. I'm getting a new education on Bitcoin. That's all.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what do you do, Mike, when you're not writing your award-winning stories?
Well, if we're speaking of writing, I am working on my next novel. I just recently graduated from a master's program in creative writing at Western Colorado University, where Kevin.
Oh, yeah, it's Kevin's program.
Yep.
So you're in the same class as Sri Fours.
That's Kevin's program is the publishing. I was in the genre fiction program.
Oh, okay.
But I sat in on a number of Kevin's classes, which he opens to the whole program for guest speakers and whatnot. So having just finished that, I'm working hard at work on my next novel. Hoping to have it finished before the workshop, to have something in hand when all this publicity starts to hit. So we'll see what happens.
If you have it, definitely bring it and send it to me in advance so I can read it before you come to the workshop, so I can then have a special interview with you, and Joe will cover it as well, a special program just featuring you with your new book releasing.
Yes, because we do it all the time. Yeah, we try to get every author we can, and we just tell Carmen, hey, we need this weekend, and he just changes it up. But yeah, we're always looking for authors that are coming out with new stuff. We do it for illustrators too. They just don't seem to do it as much. Yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different world to it. It's just a little bit different to where everything breaks down. But so you're in. So she's right in the group. So you're in the middle, man. You're with the guys that the first year I was with these guys. It was a double year because they were coming back from COVID. So I had 24 authors and 24 illustrators to torture. So the first year, the average was somewhere between 14 and 18 was the average of what it took to get in. Now, people, when we say that, we're not talking about 18 years, okay? I mean, but she'd be like a baby back then. So it's not 18 years. You can submit 4 times a year, people. Yeah. So, yes, 4 times a year, writersofthefuture.com. Yes. If I charged John $1 every time I said that, I'd be a millionaire now. I could just retire. No, it is writersofthefutures.com. That's everything. I mean, the free course is there so you can learn if you're trying to figure out how to write. It helped me a lot, even though I still haven't ever written a story. But it has. I've taken it like 3 times. When I get to the story part, I'm like, nope.
He likes watching the movies.
Yes, no, because the boss lady said she's got to edit it, so that's not going to happen. Because she'll be calling me every 15 minutes. What the hell is this, Joe?
So Kathleen, what do you do when you're not writing your award-winning stories?
Well, In the writing side of things, I entered into the Bain Fantasy Adventure Award, and I got 3rd place this year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, they're a good
Oh,
group of
good.
people over there.
Well done. Yeah, I spent some time at went and shared some pizza and drinks with Tony Weisskopf. She's a publisher of Bain Books, and I was there at the awards, and know a lot of her authors, and she's so loves Writers of the Future. When she was first starting, when she was an intern at whatever college she was going to, we were in New York, and she came there and she cut cheese and made the little crackers and cheeses to serve at the awards gala when she was at, a little pup in publishing. Now she owns Bain Books. But that's great news, because that's quite a recognition, even just, getting 3rd place, but you're on your way for that. So again, so you've done that. And then what else do you do?
Aside from, I'm trying to get a lot of short stories out right now. I have novel drafts, but definitely nothing that's finished yet. But now that I know you do that at Writers of the Future, I'll definitely go back and look to see what I can do and bring to the workshop.
That'd be good. Definitely. And then now, is that a window that's around your right side? Because you've got this amazing lighting on your face, like she's an artist or something like that. She's got this Rembrandt lighting set up going right now. You got the little triangle on your left cheek, and then it's coming in on your right. It's like, wow, how'd she? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
So how do you keep the roof over your head? Is it mom and dad, or do you have, now that you're out of college, do you have other stuff, or what's your gig?
I'm a copywriter and a tutor.
Oh, good.
Oh, patience. Both those jobs take patience.
And then, Mike, what do you do to keep your blurry background in alive?
Well, first of all, my black background is my mother-in-law's apartment. She's kind enough to let me sit in while it's my daughter's birthday today, and I have a bunch of teenage girls going crazy at my house, so I need a quiet environment.
Bless you, man.
But I'm kind of at the tail end of my career. I'm hoping retirement is in the near future, which is why I kind of refocused on my creative writing. But I've had a career as many different types of writing roles, whether it's marketing, copywriting, or technical writing. Most recently, user experience writing, which is a very specialized field, kind of product and digital design kind of work. So that's, but I'm hoping to transition out and focus.
It's nice when you have a little more free time to work on stuff. I sold, I've been doing radio and TV for 28 years, but my main money maker I was a general contractor. I owned a construction company, and I just sold it this year and retired. And I was like, okay, I can sit still now. It just doesn't work for me. So, but it does give me more time to mess with the station. And I brought in a station manager so that I didn't have to worry about the station, because, running the other job was plenty enough. And now that I don't have that to do, I'm harassing her. What are we gonna do next? Technically, I got a great thing. She, all I told her is how I wanted the station to run, and generally the types of formats I want across the network, and she does it. She does she's in charge of hiring and firing and everything else that goes on in between. The only thing I got to do is write checks. She does everything else. So it's a nice deal. And she is, she's tough, man. She's always trying to fire John's ass. I don't know what's up with that. No, I'm just kidding. There are a couple that she'd like to get rid of, but she for some reason puts up with him. She actually loves John and Emily. Matter of fact, I think she feels snubbed lately. I'll have to ask her about that. But her name is Michelle DeRoche. She's been in TV for 30 years, 28 years, something like that. And taking over us makes my life way easier. It gives me more time to harass John. Gives me more time to harass everybody, actually. So it's a good thing. But no, you should. I mean, really, it gave me time to seriously sit down and think about what directions I want to move the station in whole. Because technically, when people see us, they see United Public Radio, but we're actually technically two different networks. Same UPRN is labeled is the acronym for both of them, but the network originally started out 28 years ago as UFO Paranormal Radio. I mean, way back, long time for the sun rose kind of thing. That's what it was. And then over the years, it migrated in because I like to do politics. I told you that, and I like to do stuff that's more mainstream that has nothing to do with demons or ghosties or UFOs, which is fun. I don't want to take nothing away from it, but when you call a politician up and say, "Hey, I own the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Would you come on UFO Undercover?" They would just kind of get a giggle. I mean, really, you get like a serious giggle. And then, but when I call them up and say, "Hi, I'm Joe Montaldo from News on the Flip Side of United Public Radio. Would you like to do the show?" It's a yes. It's not even an argument. They're just, especially when they find out our audience size, they're like, "Oh, sure," because that show right now is sitting almost at 5 million a week. So, and it's a good, solid, insane show. And then the one following this one is also if you ever get bored one night on a Saturday, we have a show called The Chat. It's a no rules kind of show. It's all audience run. The audience decides what we're going to talk about. And all I can say is how can I say it politely? It's insane. It's the only time they weren't insane when John's wife came on, they got all like quiet and stuff. I'm still picking on him about that, by the way. Still, I told him, matter of fact, last night I said on air, I said, Emily would come visit us more on The Chat if y'all weren't so chicken. And he's like, what? They whined for the next hour after that. I don't know. Y'all haven't met Emily Goodwin yet, but she's a sweetheart and a half. And she puts up with me. I drive her crazy, but she's actually a sweetheart and half. But she gives as good as she takes. Like, I'll tell you that ahead of time. Yep. She's really good. So, are y'all planning on sneaking any views while you're in LA? While you're out there in Los Angeles? I mean, there's a lot to see out there.
They want to see the judges. They want to see the fellow winner. I mean, some of the stuff what are you most looking forward to, Kathleen, when you come out?
Ooh.
Put her on the spot, man.
I'm not sure, really. The whole workshop, I think I've been wanting to go for so long that I couldn't tell you which part I'm the most excited about because it's so thrilling.
Yeah. About yourself, Mike?
That's also a tough one, but I'd probably say getting to know the cohort of winners who will be doing it with me, as well as, of course, some of these authors whose names and work I've followed for countless years. That's going to be very exciting. So, yeah.
What's good too is the judges enjoy going down to the bar for
they do.
It's after the workshop is over, then they go to the bar, and whether you participate in libations or not, that's where people go and they just hang out, and you get to meet your cohort. But the judges are there as well. They love it as well, just coming down there and being able to chat with you, and you can ask all kinds of questions. It's a whole different thing of like.
It is a whole different thing.
You're up close and personal with Tim Powers or with Scott Card or with Jody Denai or all these different authors like Kevin Anderson. He loves going there. And
I'll tell y'all the truth. All the judges there want y'all to talk to them. They really do. I'll be honest with you. I've known enough of them now long enough to know if they didn't want to be bothered, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you get shy, just know if you see me at LobbyCon or BarCon, because it goes by two different names. If you see me down there and there's somebody you want to talk to and you're just a little nervous, just come tell me and I'll introduce you. I do it every year. I always introduce several because sometimes, even though people see them in class and all, sometimes they get a little, I don't want to bother them. No, they want you to bother them. If they didn't want you to bother them, they wouldn't be down in the bar. They'd be up in their room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they really want to talk to you. I mean, that's why they come. To them, they always call it paying it forward. But, I mean, they really are. They're there for y'all. It's amazing to me.
Yeah. Where you guys are is where they were 20, 30 years ago. So they know where you are because they went through that, So you see Kevin Anderson or Tim Powers, like he's the 3-time World Fantasy Award winner, or he's the guy that does all the Dune movies, or that type of stuff. That's what you see, but you don't see is the curve where they began, which is where you are now. And so they know what's ahead of you, and so they're totally willing to help nurture that and say, okay, good. So what do you want to know? And just chat and just become, buds. And then for some of you, if they really take a liking to you, then they'll introduce you to their people, and you can help get, more, a faster launch to your career. But they can also, as you're going along, when you go back, you'll have their contact information. They say, if you need anything, just call me, write me, let me know.
Yeah,
so now you've got a direct line to all these instructors that puts you light years ahead of the rest of the field, because there's over 3 million books published a year, new books. So what can you do to raise yourself above and get yourself that recognition? And this is one of the main ways you can do that. So you both, I mean, I love your storytelling, Mike, from your news from Stricklandia, and you're talking about your journey as Rise to the Future. And then Kathleen, your story of how like you were inspired by that one article and just did it. Like, you had me from the word go at that point, so I'm totally interested in supporting you. So you're going to find people that are like willing to help you. And then you're going to have your own, group of winners that you become lifelong friends. And then there's various other chats that you can join, which goes back years of past winners that you can then join as well. It's just, it's its own group that,
it is amazing how supportive
you on. I mean, and this year is a special year too. This is the year we break 1,000 writers and artists being published in Writers of the Future. Yeah. So it's a special thing. I mean, that's a lot of folks.
I also want to mention, John, that volume 42, it's just coincidental that the answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything
that's
42.
Right.
So
exactly. There we go. So there's lots of things we're going to be taking advantage of this year on our marketing and PR stuff on it. So we definitely have that. So both, it's a double thing on it. The 1,000 winners and the Fort Life, Universe, and everything. The answer to everything in the universe.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's a lot of fun. You're gonna be surprised how people want to talk to you, and it's more than that. There's a lot of stuff that you'll notice, but you won't notice behind the scenes, because the staff at Author Services is fabulous. They are absolutely. I always tell John, I'm always waiting for one of them to jump out of closet with an axe and cut me up, because they're just so nice. It's scary, people. I'm telling you, they are some of the nice, and I'm a pain in the ass. So y'all are winners, so they're nice to you because you're part of what's going on. I'm just a pain in the ass. I'm press, so they don't actually have to be nice to me. But they always are fabulous. And if you get to go to the office, man, make sure you get a cup of coffee. If you can get John to make it, even better, because he makes a mean cup of coffee. You'll see when you get there, when you see the machine, you know why I tell you to get a cup of coffee. But I'll tell everybody, man, if you can sneak a cup of coffee out that machine, get you one. It's a fact. But they really do. They go out of their way to make sure you're taken care of. And you'll notice, because they're all hard working. You'll see them, you'll get up in the morning, they're moving around, whether it's Joni or whoever it may be. And it's like Emily disappears for a couple of days, because when they're setting up the gala event, we don't necessarily see her as much, because that's where she's at. I mean, but everybody
she's the producer for the event. She's producing the gala.
So, and she always does a fabulous job, by the way. It's but everybody over there is really good. They take really good care of y'all. It's really nice to see. And it's always amazing to me how much camaraderie there is between the winners. Because, I mean, really, none of y'all know each other from, Now, we do the shows earlier now, so everybody gets to meet each other before the event. But still, still everybody's really just nice. I'm surprised, because I'd be a pain in the ass, man. I'm just being honest. But
you're not a winner, so there you go.
The closest one to me was Blue Eyes, man. He was something else. Oh man,
that was our grand prize winner from volume 36. It was. He's
an Aussie.
Chris Winspear.
Yeah,
he's the guy from Australia. Yeah. So
somebody dropped him on his head when he was a baby, but him and I had we had a lot of good chats.
They had a lot in common. So that's
we had a lot of good chats now. But again, if you find yourself down at Lobby kind of bar comment and you are nervous, just let me know. I'll introduce you to you, because I'm usually hanging around talking to somebody. It just depends what's going on, or I'm listening a lot of times. Like, I get to hear some pretty interesting stories about stuff from their lives. So I'm there for y'all too. But when I'm listening to the judges, sometimes the judges will be talking to each other about their own personal lives, and I've actually learned some very interesting stuff. And and now they've gotten used to seeing me, so they don't even think about it when I'm there, because they know I'm not going to say anything I shouldn't, so they don't really worry about it. But it is nice, and you get to hear a lot of this stuff. And one of the things you'll notice right off the bat, especially if Jody and Tim are together, they don't always agree. It is a blast.
Rarely do they agree.
Yes. Well, anyway, I was trying to be nice about it. Anyway, you get two distinctly different perspectives, so it's really nice because we all know none of us are cookie cutters. If you're in any type of art, you're not a cookie cutter. You're going to be different, so your situation may need to be different. So when you talk to all these different judges, you'll notice they don't always necessarily agree, but they all got to the same ends. They're all famous and profitable, so it's just what fits you the best works. One of my favorites to listen to is Tim McCaffrey because he's crazy too.
God, yeah.
No, I did that. Anyway, I don't know why
he just moved to Ireland, so I don't know if he's going to make it this year or not.
No, he's always fun too because he always wears a nice blazer to the to the event. I like his choice in colors. We'll leave it at that. That's another thing. You're going to really enjoy the gala. It's really nice. It's well done. It's as good as any Hollywood gala you'll be out there, and it's just nice. And they have good groups, and I always like to watch y'all get up on stage. There's always a key, and there's lots of cameras everywhere. So it's thank God y'all get to rehearse first. Is all I can say.
Yes, it's So I'm just curious now, circling back to you two. So now, Kathleen, your story's fantasy. So is that your go-to genre, or are you also other genres?
It's mostly fantasy. I just finished writing actually a cozy kind of science fiction short story. So I'll write a lot of different things, but fantasy is home.
Oh, good. What about you, Mike? Because yours is science fiction.
Yeah, I was afraid this question would come up because I have a hard time pinning myself down genre-wise.
That's fine.
I'm kind of all over the map, and I actually enjoy blending genres more than anything. The short stories I've written are kind of pretty wide-ranging, and I've completed one novel and one in progress, and both of those are ironically not genre really. They're more like kind of contemporary mainstream fiction, not genre fiction. Although the one I'm working on now has kind of a fantasy blend in it. But yeah, a long-winded way of saying I like experimenting.
Nothing wrong with that, man. You need to write some near now sci-fi, man. You need to write some of that. Yes. Yeah. It's getting thin out there, man. I mean,
Joe's always pitching the near future.
Man, it's getting thin. It's hard to find anything that's good to watch in that particular genre. I mean, there's lots of good sci-fi out there, but
But a lot of the near now stuff too also gets into the AI and the deep fake and all that stuff there, which is happening more and more right now. You've had a couple guests on a few times, Bill Fawcett, and then
Bill's always great.
Yeah, and what's his name from Florida?
I'd have to pull it up. I can't.
World War III, but anyway, but it's
weird World War III.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like we just had a thing come up at DragonCon on AI art where it blew up, where somebody was selling AI art at DragonCon, and it wasn't. They're violating copyright because they had some of the Marvel stuff whatnot on it, and so when it finally came to head, they were asked to leave. He said, "No, I pay for my booth." And so the CEO came up with the Hala in charge, and then the Atlanta Police Department, and they were escorted out. And the everybody in the Artist Alley cheered, because it's it's like we want to celebrate creativity, and so that's why we have the thing also with Writers and Illustrators of the Future, no AI. And it gets harder. As soon as we say no AI, then somebody's going to try to do it, see if they can get away with it. And we put the rules in there because a couple of years ago, somebody did AI art that they submitted, and we weren't tracking with it back then. And then it turns out that it was, because when they came to the workshop, they weren't doing the Illustrator classes. And they said, "Why aren't you doing this?" I says, "Well, that's not my style. That's not my procedure." Then we've come to find out that the procedure was giving prompts to the computer. So we don't do that. So we made a big point on it, changing the rules. We don't have AI because we wanted to have people that, I'm not saying don't use Grammarly. I'm saying where somebody says, "Here's the prompts. Now give me a fantasy short story about, a kid and a fairy with this and a that." And all of a sudden, here you go. You've got ABC story, or I want to do something with, near future science fiction with atomic warfare and AI deepfake, and then it comes up with the story.
What was it that Sean Hazlitt wrote? Didn't he write some of that weird World War stuff too?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the hosts on the network. He's one of the past winners. He hosts on the network.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the coordinating judge for the Illustrators host on the network. She came on she's on between John and I. So people, if you ever want to learn about art, there you go, right there. It's either her or either Echo or Lazarus. One of them will be there. Lazarus, her old man. So, but you'll see one of the two of them up there doing it. They're both pretty good artists. She's the better artist. He's the better writer. So,
yeah, he's like the art director. That's what he did as a profession, and her whole thing has been, creative art. But it's as these are both writers here too. We've got, so many of the winners have gone on. 2 years ago we did a check, and it was 62% of the winners have gone on to successful careers using either illustration or writing with their profession. So that was pretty good. We were happy about that. So then
remember us when you're on the red carpet, when we're screaming, give us an interview, you never know who's going to be. I mean, I've seen a lot of y'all take off. That's another thing too. When you get there, they teach you about that was one of the things that actually kind of surprised me, is that you learn quite a bit about the financial side of this and how it actually works and what you should be doing and what's the difference between different types of companies and stuff. Dean's really good about breaking it down, but all of them have a good knowledge about how you should be doing things. What depending on your other financial situation, what's the best way to handle something specifically. They also teach you about Kickstarter, which I never knew existed until I met these guys, which is actually a great thing for someone who's starting to get a little name for themselves.
Yeah,
it's something that can put a lot of money in your pocket fast. And I noticed the year I came to go, when I found out about it, boy, that guy get 42 million, 46 million.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure that's the exception to the rule, but damn.
Very much so. But he definitely raised the bar quite a bit. So I'm just curious. So Kathleen, are you very big on social media?
I'm on social media, but I'm not very big on it yet. I have my Blue Sky account. So.
Okay, what about you, Mike?
Mainly on Substack. You mentioned my newsletter. I do kind of write a letter or newsletter with generally about my musings on the writing craft. But beyond that, I have kind of recently gotten back on Facebook and Instagram with author profiles, just to kind of just start laying the groundwork there for a future career.
Yeah, because that's one thing that's important that we'll be going over at the workshop is indie. Are you planning on going? So then, Kathleen, are you planning on going traditional or indie?
I'm hoping traditional, but I don't know enough about it yet to say for sure.
It depends who you talk to. If you talk to Dean Wesley Smith or Mark Leslie, they will bend over backwards to explain to you how how traditional publishing is the worst thing that could possibly happen to an author. Or you could talk to Orson Scott Card, Tim Powers, Rob Sawyer, and they'll tell you about the virtues of traditional publishing. So you got both ways to, and Steve Serling will talk about the virtues of traditional publishing. So
they break it down for you quite well, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they'll both go into it on both sides of the spectrum. You're like, wow, but it's how much you're willing to hustle as an author with your social media and build up. What you make is a lot more per book. And Kevin's totally sold on what he did because he's written so many books, but once they go out of print, and if another publisher still has the rights, then you're dead in the water. You can't do anything because they own the rights and they won't republish it because they don't have the money for that. So he bought the rights back, and then he created his own publishing house so that he could then get his books back in print. And that's why he created WordFire. So, and Dean Wesley Smith, the same thing, why he created his WMG Press, which WMG stands for the name of his three cats. And so that's why they did their press, he and Chris, his wife. So you'll have, both sides of it. on what works. We've got, so you can get your questions answered. What about this? What about that? So moving forward, we go over, basically we give you so many different pieces of the puzzle, and then you can decide what the pictures you want the pieces to fill. So you can decide, I want to do traditionals, then you can get your questions answered on traditionals. And if you want to get your questions out, okay, I want to do indie or I want to do self, then these are some of the different, these are what you got to watch for. And this is how it works. And this is what the returns will be, on doing this. We had Hugh Howey started self-publishing, and he did Silo, and which is now that TV series. But he did it, and then because he was so popular, publishing house picked him up and did it, and then he's just like, he didn't like it because he was restricted to doing one book a year and had to be a certain size, and I don't do it that way. He likes doing little novelettes and then put them together to make a novel.
Either way it goes, a big social media presence is a must.
Pretty much these days, having a social.
So know this: you can outdo yourself just with X and with TikTok. Will outperform, those two alone will outperform all the rest of the social media put together. It's just they're the two highest performing right now. Instagram is great, Facebook is great. There's a bunch of, currently, I shouldn't even tell you this, we have 48 social media pages for the station. 48. I have 3 personal Facebook pages. Those are personal pages. And the thing of it is people expect to see you. Once you get to a certain point, people do expect to see you one way or another. So in reality, it's for anybody in any field, anywhere. You're only as good as your last thing you've done. So after that starts to fade, then you either have to maintain a presence so people just know you're around. It doesn't even matter what you say because most fans are going to be loyal regardless. So just acknowledging them a lot of time is enough. And occasionally somebody's going to say, hey, what are you up to? Did you think about writing this? Or in my case, I get a lot of stuff because we have 40 hosts on the network, so it can get stupid sometimes. But it's a great thing to have. It allows you to really put out stuff. It also allows you to retrieve ideas from people who have read your books or have seen you for a while. The reason I said X is because for some reason X moves at an exponential rate. It's the way it's designed. It's constantly growing, scrapping. They also have a lot of ways you can set up. You can sell right off of X. Same thing with almost everywhere else. And what's really great now is a lot of them are interchangeable. Like my LinkedIn, my Instagram, and my Facebook pages are all connected together. Right now, we're broadcasting to Roku, Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, and X. That's not including the other 200 servers that we're on around the world. That's just our video feeds going out and our television feed. They're just sitting there. That's how many people are watching y'all just on those. And then it comes and goes on which. But I always tell people when it comes to social media, get what fits you the best, what you feel the most comfortable with. Because you're the one that's going to have to be making it, unless you cheat like I do and get a manager. let her be their headache. It's you'd be surprised how many people will donate their time to you if they think you're worth it. A lot of people will help you out. They'll put posts out for you. Word of mouth is one of the best advertisers on the planet. And these guys, when you meet these guys, they're going to teach you how to use it. But it doesn't matter whether you go traditional or if you go independent. Social media is whereas a lot of people are going to find out about you is going to be on social media. And I'll tell you another little secret too. Don't be scared to do appearances. Don't be scared to suggest yourself to people like Coast to Coast. John's been on Coast to Coast. I've been on Coast to Coast 5, 6, 7 times. Anytime you go in there, you're going to see an audience between. You may see interaction between 60 and 600,000 people may visit your site. So it's always a good thing. And if you're coming out with any kind of sci-fi or fantasy stuff, they're into that kind of stuff. And they have to fill 7 days a week, 4 hours a night. And now they do two guests on their shows. So that's a lot of guests to take up every week. So trust me when I tell you they're looking for guests. They're always. And you know what? If you're feeling comfortable to talk to Carmen, Carmen knows him over there pretty well, so he could probably help you. But it is a good way to get out there. Other podcasts, there's a lot of podcasts looking for guests. There's a lot of podcasts like us that do authors. that strictly do authors. We have 2 others on this network that only do authors. They don't do anything else. And sometimes they're in specific genres, but still, you can find a lot, especially in fantasy and sci-fi. There's a lot of people out there that like to talk about that stuff. And if you got a book out, or just because you're in the new 42, I keep pointing at it, guys. That's 41. I'm sorry. You still got to go buy this one. No, really, it's right here. Look, all right. Whoever said that might hold on. Look, I'll put it up. See, there it is. Look how pretty it is. Ooh, let's get back.
It's very pretty, and it's definitely worth buying and reading.
It's a good book. Got a lot of good stories in it. As a matter of fact, I was talking with one of the authors the other day about a particular story that was really good. As you can see, it sits up there until it gets given away. Bob protects it. See Bob back there? Do not F with Bob. I'm just warning y'all. Don't F with Bob. Bob is watching the books. But no, really and truly. So, I mean, social media is always a good thing to help you with. There's a couple people while you're over there that will talk to you about social media, and they're pretty good about it. And so there's just so much information you're going to get out of this, in so many ways you'll be able to self-publish yourself or publish yourself. Or the turmoils of finding a publisher, or usually you have to get why did it go right out of my head? Agent, if you want a publisher.
Yeah, but if you finish your books and you bring it with you, then and you establish a relationship with, like, I really like Kevin, or I really like, whoever, then they might be willing to, agree once you, not like the first night when you meet them. Hi, my name's Mike. You want a book to read?
Well, no, I mean they're there. You're gonna get time. You're gonna get downtime.
You get a lot of quality time with these guys.
So, and really and truly, usually around 6 or 7, you'll see everybody start coming down. Some of us are coming down to drink. Some of us are coming down to eat. Some of us are just coming to chit chat. I'm usually doing both. I'm usually eating and chit chatting, and unless I'm going out with somebody because we're going somewhere. But it's, you know what, Jimmy, bite me. How's that? No, I like the authors as much as like the illustrators. Who told you that? Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. The first year I was hanging out with all the illustrators. That's all. There's a lot of videotape of that. Sorry. No, man, I like both. Anyway,
he's not talking to a voice in his head. He's talking to somebody else that's listening.
Oh, I'm actually talking to somebody on Powell Talk, which is another social thing we have going on. Powell Talk over there, and welcome Powell Talk people. They're listening to us via some radio station around the country somewhere. That's another thing. So we're on television, we're on AM and FM, and we're on podcast everywhere that you can find a podcast. If it's a podcast company, we're there somewhere on their site. We're going to be there. So we always tell people, look, think about that kind of stuff. It never hurts to get your stuff out everywhere you can put it out, especially if you're going independent. So in the old days, we used to give away a lot of stuff for free. We don't do that so much anymore because we found out that it's not really that good of an idea. But we will do something like we'll put something out that's really good, and we'll give the first half away for free, and the second half we'll charge, which irritates me, by the way. But it's the only way people actually do it. When people get to know you and know that you're putting out quality material, they don't mind paying for it. That's the thing that cracks me up. They don't actually mind. And a lot of people, especially in today's environment, are more willing to actually buy something to help you out because they know, just like them, you're having a hard time in life. So they're more willing to help out. But in social media, you'll grow into it. Everybody eventually does. You were in college. It's hard to be on social media and be in college because either you got to be dedicated to your social media or dedicated to college. There's not much time. I mean, I see some people out there, but most of them that are serious about their college aren't on social media. That usually.
So what did you graduate with, Kathleen?
In 22.
And what was your was it arts or?
I did Bachelor of Arts in English Creative Writing.
Okay, I thought you were going to say, oh yeah, I was an engineer in molecular phenomena in.
Don't, a lot of us have degrees we don't use anymore, so it's life's like that. Sometimes you learn something and you decide you want to do something else.
So your objective then, Kathleen, is to be a writer. That's your objective.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, we'll see.
And then, Mike, your turn. You're at this point in your second career. You're going to double down on creative writing.
Yeah, I don't know about my second. It's probably like my fourth or fifth career. But,
Okay,
sound like me,
your
Mike.
next career then.
Yeah.
I sit corrected.
Yeah, yeah. I went to my bachelor's was I went to film school at USC there in LA, and so I tried to go the screenwriting route, and I did that for a bit, or I tried to break into that, and then after I gave it my best shot, I kind of went and had a new career and kind of got away from my creative writing, and it was really just the last couple of years that I've reconnected with it and went and got my master's degree and won this contest. So hopefully I'm off to a good start.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things like winning the contest. It's definitely something that you will put onto your resume, and I see people decades later saying, yes, I was a winner in Riders of the Future, and it's something that will definitely get you noticed because there are so many people trying to get their voice heard that when you can have something that there's probably, I don't know if there's anything that's more reputable than winning Riders of the Future, because all the editors and publishers know that it's 100% blind judged. So nobody had an idea of who or anything about you other than your story when you won. So, and they know that it's judged only by the judges who are all professionals. Like, I have no idea. I mean, I read your stories because I asked Maliva, who's the editor, to send me your stories yesterday so I could read them before this show. But nobody on staff here, none of the people at Riders of the Future see anything until the judges have said, these are the ones, so that's how we find out. Nobody has a say in it. We never have had a say in who's the winner.
Yes,
So
trust me, he's not lying to y'all either. He's telling
Yeah.
the truth.
So it's known. So it makes it very unique. And the fact that it's free to enter and it's judged blind and that you maintain the rights to your stories, that's just unheard of out there. It just does not happen. And that we encourage you to send your story out again to get it, republished in other anthologies or other contests. We'll send links. Okay, now enter here, enter here, enter here, which I'm doing right now with other winners in volume 41. We really want you to have a successful career. The only thing I ask, and Joe asks as well, is don't forget us little people when you become very big and famous,
Yes, because one of these days you're gonna be big and famous. We're gonna be like, come on now, you got to let us get up to the front of the line and stuff.
It'd be my pleasure.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I tell everybody when I meet him, I have no doubt. I mean, you made it this far. You got a good start. By the time you're done with this class, I mean, some of the authors I meet really have no formal training. Some of them do. Some of them have been in college, but I noticed it doesn't really matter. They tend to all pick up something during this week, and don't ever be scared to ask a question in class. By the way, just don't. They actually expect that, and if nobody asks, they will start picking on y'all until somebody asks. I'm just warning you ahead of time. So, and it's interesting because they're looking. They want questions asked. I mean, they can sit there and talk to you all day. They're all good at doing it, but they would rather be getting points out that you really want to know about. I mean, they're going to give you the basics no matter what, but you really want to come away with an advanced learning. I guarantee you, a week with them is probably two years of school anywhere you go. It's like some kind of intense overdrive training, but and it's
a definite fire hose down the throat. It's just there's so much data, and you're taking lots of notes, and some of the stuff too, which you're going to find because where you are in your career, you'll be getting some different advice and different things from judges, like, well, he makes it seem like it's important, so I'll make the note down. You might not really grok on the significance of what they're saying for 2 years or 3 years down the road and go, that's what they were talking about. Where your production gets up to a point where you start looking at which genre that I write or what format makes me the most money. There's several articles that have you both done the free online writing workshop on Writers of the Future?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's 3 new videos we just posted a few weeks ago that I recommend you listen to as well, with Nydia Corfor, Kevin Anderson, and Rob Sawyer, and all different things. And Rob gets into about characters, saying like, all characters are actually robots, and he goes in to explain how that is. And then Kevin goes into, I think it's 12 points on the business of writing, and Nettie goes over a way to self-edit. Once you've written the book, they're really good. Really great advice that they use. And Nettie is so cute. She's just like, I mean, how she talks, and she's just like has so much fun. She really has fun as a writer. But it's something that you'll get. So so I've already asked you, and you, Kathleen, you said, everything on what you're looking forward to coming out. Do you have your dress all figured out, or you?
I do actually. I went shopping with my mom, and we found a really nice dress that I'm very excited to wear.
There you go.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a big deal. It really is the Oscars of science fiction and fantasy. We'll have 20 to 30 media will be there on the red carpet doing interviews and taking photos, and then it's a 6-camera event that we have there. So it's a full production, like a Hollywood production event that we do, and you'll rehearse. And I just recently attended a different awards event where they don't rehearse, and so the names get mispronounced, and people come up, and people don't show up, and it's a real difference to have that level of an event. And with the advent of social media, the other thing too is social media is forever. So it's important that you really learn the basics and that you got good manners, because
stay out of politics.
And if you get in there, when you go in and you jump in and you start doing some posts that are like divisive type, whether it's religion or politics or whatever the current favorite thing that people like to hate on, as soon as you jump in on those conversations, you automatically disenfranchise 50% of your potential audience.
See, it's one of the things we teach in the course. Look, there are people who can do both. It's just a rare thing. I can get away with it, but like I said, I'm a centrist, so they expect it from me. But I tell people all the time, if you're lefty or righty and you decide to say what you are, you just lost half that audience. It's half your money just went poof. For what? For five? Look at that poor Adele. She lost all her money. God, look what's her name from Harry Potter. It cost her $1 billion by taking a political stand.
That's chump change for her, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I know, but still, it's still a lot of money, and so it's best. I understand the need to say something sometimes, because frankly, things happen on all sides of politics that I feel a need to say something about. But for people who are really just in it, you want to get your material out there, you want to make money, and you want people to like you, the best thing is to stay out of religion and politics.
Yeah, and you're not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things on your social posts to say, I think this person is an evil person. It's not going to change anybody's opinion. All it's going to do about who you're commenting on, it's going to change somebody's opinion about you. So both of you wrote amazing stories. They're not political. They're not right or left. Yeah, they're fun, fantastical, and science fiction stories.
That's
They're
the way to do it too.
And a great ending. So like everybody will like that.
Look at legs. You got booty.
You're not anything on stuff. You're just good storytellers. If you keep it at that, then you'll be able to build an audience. And it doesn't matter if secretly you like the current, political direction, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. That's for you to have as for your beingness as an author. You want to be able to sell yourself as an author that you want to read, because you're going to like what I have to give to you. And it's not political what you're doing. You're not dropping in little Easter eggs on pro-left or pro-right. You're just telling a good story, and it's fun and it's uplifting, and it's like you're done like, that was nice. I like that last sentence in your story, Kathleen. That was such a nice last sentence. Yeah. And the same thing with you, Mike, on how it all comes together at the end. It's like, that is just nice. And
but you see how it is. Look at Taylor Swift. all famous. Everybody loved her. She comes to the Super Bowl and they booed her. She didn't even know how to act. She'd never been booed before. Then she had to cancel last year's concerts because they weren't selling the way they was, all because she took a political stand.
Yeah. It's not,
not worth
and
it.
so you see a lot in Hollywood. People are very much into the politics of it. And it's like, all it does is puts people at odds to them. People don't want to see the movies because of right or left. It's like, it's so silly. So I learned that lesson earlier on where I took a picture with a very well-known Democrat, and I had a very well-known Republican on my social page. I got friends all over the place. And then I had on the liberal person there, I had the very conservative. What are you doing with that person? And on the person with the conservative, I had the liberal saying, what are you doing with that person? So I just thought, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm not that's
having
not
a drink. That's what I'm doing. Asswipes. It is a shame that it used to not be like that. It used to be that you could say stuff and you wouldn't lose audience over it. Nobody would care. But today people just, it's the cancel culture. They just feel like they need to cancel you if you don't go with it. So it's best just to let people wonder, No, Glenn, I don't let anybody wonder. We're not talking about me. It's well, I mean, come on, some things are dumb. But I mean, it's just best. It's best advice I can give you is look, just don't pick a side. And you can if that's what you want out of life and you feel the need. I would never tell no one not to do it because I mean that's your right in life. But for a business move, not so much. Matter of fact, there's things I do that to people who I had a lot of wealthy construction company customers. And there's some stuff I do in research that they didn't know about, and I kept it from them because if they found out, I wouldn't have those customers anymore. And I'm just glad they didn't follow any of my radio stuff. That's all I can say. But as far as what I do, it's different. I can do this show, and then go do the show I'm going to do after that in an hour, and then I can take whatever side I want because people know me well enough to know now that I'm not going to always agree with every side. So I'm not truly one way or the other. I'm just whatever I feel like at the moment. And I mean, generally, when I see a perfect political society or a perfect religion, I'll get up there and look what we found. But until then, I'm having too much fun. It's too much fun for me. So if you ever get something you don't like, write to me. I'll say it for you. You see how you can get around that.
What were you going to say, Mike?
I was going to say I'm excited to check out some of Joe's other programming. I got to tune in.
Yes. Well, like I said, the chat is a fun show because most of the time we try to keep politics out of it. And if we have guests, we almost always leave politics out of it because we don't want to.
Friday night is politics night.
Yeah, Friday night is politics. Sometimes I'm way left, sometimes I'm way right, sometimes I'm in the middle. Trump is a challenge. Because I didn't vote. I got to be honest. I didn't vote for Trump either time, but I do kind of like him a little. So that gets me in trouble all the time because I got a lot of Democratic friends, and they write me not friendly stuff. We're still friends, though, by the way. But they do write me stuff like, Joe, I can't even use the language on here. And I'm like, well, that's just the way you feel today. I said, but still on for dinner Friday night. Oh yeah, we're going out to dinner. Well, that's okay. And then at dinner they'll try to convince me that the other guy was crazy, but but they don't get to the point where because they know I can go either way, they don't get into that like that Trump derangement syndrome or some other kind of crazy syndrome where they just can't let go. We'll have dinner, we'll have drinks, and then we may start talking about aliens or something that God knows what we're going to end up talking about. But so I've kind of figured out how that works, but for most people it just doesn't work that way. And over the years, I have found that friends are not always friends. Especially when you start getting just a little bit famous, you'd be surprised how many people can be, maybe nasty is not the right word, but not as friendly as they were before you got a little bit famous. I'll never understand that. I mean, if they're good friends, you see, all my good friends are happy anytime they see me somewhere on TV or something. They're like, I see you on TV, you ugly blankety blank, and stuff like that. But it's not always like that for people. So be careful with that, and be careful with strangers who just walk in and say they're your best friend. Always check people out, especially if it's internet related. Internet is notorious for not good things. But again, by saying that, you still need a good social, because think of it this way. The other day, this guy, I forgot what it was, some little plastic toy thing. He put it on TikTok, right? So he'd been trying to sell it all over. He even tried to sell it to Shark Tank, couldn't get him to buy it. He goes on TikTok and one day sold 4 million units at $30 a unit. You do how much money he made. That's insanity how much money he made. And it's just one of those kind of things.
So now one thing that we do teach quite a bit there at Rise of Future is your group, your friends, like making sure that you've got like a good team of people that, that doesn't include the quote unquote well-intentioned friend, like, well, I don't know, maybe you're not quite ready yet, because we really encourage people to get, your friends, make it somebody that they're supportive of you, and don't make this little, where you finish talking to them, you feel like, I don't know, something's not right, so that you don't have those types of friends. And we encourage some people, that, some of the big celebrities don't even pay attention to the social media, because the social media is just, the bigger you get, the more some people actually just, their whole game is to go up and tear you down. And there's certain media networks that's their game, and definitely the trolls do that. But for yourself, which is a big plus, what you're going to have with Writers of the Future is you're going to find other like-minded people that you can group with and share stuff with, who won't make you feel a little bit like, I don't know, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Those types of friends. Yeah. Have you done stuff I'm just curious, is that something that you've done a pre-calling, or you've worked out so you have people that are supportive around you as your close people?
I do through my recent grad school experience. I had a cohort of 14 of us in the genre fiction program, and super tight through that program, and they're kind of in the same boat, the beginnings of their creative writing careers. So I'm lucky that I already have that. I'm looking forward to having a second.
Yeah, you definitely will get that. Yeah, that's good. What about yourself, Kathleen?
I think I have a few that we're all writers, but when we're friends first, before we ever see each other's writing, I think that helps, because we want to support each other no matter what.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good, because you'll find people that are, even right now, just meeting Mike, you'll be meeting the other 10 more people, and plus the illustrators too. You'll find when we do the art reveal, that's always that is such an emotional event that we do, where you will be outside in the hallway. The illustrators will have all the art put up on easels in the room, and they'll stand around the side of the room. Then we open the door, and they all walk in, and they got to walk over, and they pick out. You don't say anything. They or you will be the ones that will walk in, and you'll find the art that's your story, and then the illustrator will come introduce themselves to you. It's such an emotional event there, because everybody is so high strung and pent up. Like, are they going to recognize my art? Will they find anything in my story that they can illustrate? It goes up. It's a two-way street on that. And then when it all comes together, it's like, again, friends for life. You'll make so many amazing friends over this 1 week period that you're going to be there. And we pull the art reveal up to where it says after the first day, so that once you meet your illustrator, then you'll be able to have a relationship for the rest of the week there. And it's not going to be, we don't have to tape up the books and all that kind of stuff, because after the first full day, then boom, there's the book that's been released to you. So you've seen it, and the art's been seen, because we don't show the art until the workshop begins. So you won't see it online. Joe doesn't show it at all.
Yes, I've been threatened not to show it. So.
Yeah.
The big boss
we go, it's great art, see? And we'll do it like that, and that's as far as we do, and up to where the book's released.
The boss was watching John and I one night as we were flipping through it, and I get a text. Y'all not showing that, right? I said, no, we're just flipping through real fast. I was like, no, we're not doing nothing. No. We want to show you.
The boss he's talking about is Emily, my wife.
Yes, his wife.
Yes.
She threatens me from time to time, but you have to put up with it. What can you do? Actually, like I said earlier, they're all really, really good people. And John will tell you, and you'll probably hear the story sometime when you're down there. I gave him a lot of trouble in the beginning because I've worked with a lot of different, I was going to say costumes. Sorry, my brain is somewhere entirely else. But I've worked with a lot of different contests over the years, and when he was telling me about this contest, the whole time I was thinking, you are just so bleeping full of it. And this went on for about a year. We went back and forth because I just, blind judge. I'd been invited to other contests where they were blind judge, and they turned out not to be blind judged. So he finally invites me out, and I'm out there and I'm talking to everybody, and it's blind judged. And I got to know everybody really well. I got to know the judges really well.
He was waiting for me to give him a handler when he came out here.
Yes. Well, hey, look, I didn't, when you get out to places, because a lot of people tell you a lot of BS because it's free press. And I like John, but I just didn't think, I said, no, there's none of this is going on like this. And what got me it wasn't so much the fact that everything he told me turned out to be true. It was just in the manner it turned out to be true. First off, everyone at Arthur Services were fabulous. And so I asked him, I said, I want to have complete access to everybody, to the people who work there, to the winners, to the judges. So the entire time I'm asking questions nonstop, and they're just coming back from COVID. So they're like really busy, and they were still taking time to stop and answer my questions. And it wasn't like, no, they were just answering the question. There wasn't no, humming around and be trying to wait to think about something. They just answered the question. And it was really, really, really nice. Poor Maliva, I probably almost drove her to drinking. And they just, every question I asked, they answered. When I got to the judges, I asked them pretty harsh questions, and everyone answered not just, but answered pointedly and told me their whole experience, but how they got to where they are, what they were doing, and why they were judging this contest. It was more than I was hoping for. And then as I got to meet all the judges and they told me how they got your stories, I was like, well, shucks, this really is blind. So then I got to meet the coordinating judges, and I wish, I shouldn't say I wish, but I was really happy that I didn't actually find anything, because I went there to go find some. John will tell you that's what I was there for. And I was looking to say, okay, there's some BS. Somebody was BSing me. I was just waiting, because I've been so disappointed by so many other contests. I was just waiting for the proverbial shoe to hit me in the back of the head. But it's not, and I advertise them everywhere I go now. And I do a lot of speaking at colleges. So when I'm speaking there, I used to advertise them. Now that people already know I'm associated, so they'll just start asking me questions. So they'll ask me like 5 questions on what I was there lecturing for. And then the next 30 minutes, can you tell me about writers of the future? I'm like, well, I can. It's not actually what I'm here for, but I can. And so I tell them the whole story and everything. It really does help people to feel more comfortable with writing to them. And because it is what it is. And it is something that has name recognition. When you go out and show somebody the trophy you won or show where you won, they're going to pay more attention to you. They're going to go, well, wait, this is actually someone who's seriously writing. This isn't, and somebody's just playing games. Because I meet a lot of authors that I don't think they really want to be authors. They just wrote a book, and the book had moderate, fame or something. And then after that, they're kind of lost, because I don't think they actually wanted to be authors. It was just they had a fit one day, wrote a book, and it actually took off a little bit. So it's kind of weird. Like I said, I have personally talked to more than 2,000 authors since I've been doing radio. So I got a unique understanding of authors in general, and and there are just different layers, different things. Y'all are more serious. You can tell both of y'all have tried already. You're educating yourself on it. You're not playing around with it. You really want this, which is always nice, because it always seems to work better when you really, when I got into construction, is because I enjoy doing it. I got a bachelor's in science and advanced avionics and electronics, no less. And a friend of mine tells me, he said, why are you doing this? I said, because I really like doing this. And I said, I make a lot of money too. I liked helping people. So I ended up at what I did for the next 40 years until I decided to retire. But that and radio, both of them allow me to help people in ways that I couldn't do on my own. So it's a nice thing. I have faith in y'all. So hopefully I'll be seeing some big movie up on the screen. wait, I recognize that name. Oh shit, wait a minute, where's my phone numbers? Call John, get a phone number here. So I hope to see both of y'all do really well in the future.
So have either of you done? Well, actually, did the TV station call you, Kathleen? Did that ever happen?
It wound up being for someone else, so it was just a little mix-up.
Okay. Yeah, there'll be more happening. You'll get a minimum, but you guys will end up with more because of just how you've already been so vocal about Writers of the Future. So you'll be getting a lot more media between now and the event, and then the event you'll have media, and then afterwards have media, because I promise a minimum of 3 media per winter.
Oh yeah, you'll get that easy.
You'll both will easily get that, since you're so both willing to be on it, and
there's going to be a lot of media at the gala. Don't think there's not. During the week, I'm John and I, maybe one other person, about the only ones you're going to have to really worry about. But when you hit the gala, there's going to be a lot of media, and not just from here, from all over the place. It's I do notice that we see a lot of Chinese media there too as well. So it's you just never know who's going to show up, but there's a lot of it there. So just be ready when you get there. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it.
So Kathleen, where are you located now?
I'm still in Missouri, so in the same area the story takes place.
Okay, good. And then Mike?
I'm in Centennial, which is a Denver suburb.
Denver. Okay, good. Yeah, because both areas we're going to get a lot of media, a lot of stuff. So that's good. Carmen's good at booking the stuff.
Yeah, he's really good at it, and and he'll and talk to him too, because that if there's some particular place you might want to go, he might be able to help you get there or something. We'll help you in any ways we can. But I always tell people too, if you find a show that you think will help you and you want to be on it, get 20 or 30 friends and have them write to the show. Don't do it yourself. Just have them write. So I got my very first Coast to Coast appearance. I had 100 audience members write to Coast to Coast. The next day they called me and said, "Would you like to be on the show?" And so it does work. But make sure it's something you want to be on. There's a lot of good shows out there for authors. There really are. There's a lot of people trying to make a difference. They're like us. I live in Mississippi, so anything we can help with literacy, I want to try. It has gotten better here because of the casinos, but still, there's a lot more people need to be picking up a book and reading down here. Let's just be honest about it. But so any way we can help, we do. It's because we want to see, and then I want to see some good movies. Because I gotta be honest, since COVID, there ain't been much in the way of good movies around. So I need something new, man, something different. I don't care. I just need something different. See, I'm not demanding. Just make it different. See, and I like happy endings. I guess that's from living in the bayou or something. When you live with alligators in your backyard, you tend to want happy endings.
Well, it's not a movie; it's a TV show. But I could. I'm just going to throw this out into the universe. I feel like my story would be a great Black Mirror episode.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, well, I have to read it to know for sure now. But well, Jack, if you haven't seen it, go find it. Yeah. If you can't find it on the internet, shame on you. You're not looking. I'm just type in the name and it'll come right up. There's a lot of good sci-fi out there, just not. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be as good as it used to be. Is all I can say. It's I was thinking, what's the best sci-fi movie that's been out in the last decade? And I was having a hard time thinking of one. Because I don't consider Marvel and all that to be sci-fi. It's more mystery or fantasy than it is sci-fi. Kind of a mix between the two, I guess. But it's
like I said, I watched Emily and I watched Superman this past week. Really enjoyed it because it was like old school Superman. It's again why I like both your stories, because you can actually have the hero and in the end, the hero remains, can be the hero and just doesn't have to be anything else.
What do you mean? He had blue hair screaming in the sky? Come on now. What kind of hero is that? I'm just kidding. For anybody with blue hair writes me, I was just teasing. Jesus, Joseph. I'm just saying, I'm used to those kind of heroes now, so I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I like the old school stuff.
Yes, I do too. I'm not gonna lie. What Denise? What do you mean? Can you meet these two? No, you not like that. You can't know. You can only you either have to be a winner or invited to. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You can't just show up or anything.
Have either of you gone to conventions?
Mm.
You have?
I met you, John. I'm sure you don't remember me as a face in the crowd, but at Superstars in February, I went there and briefly chatted with you. I think maybe Emily was there. I can't recall, but
Okay, good. Because when I picked, I was like, okay. Sometimes I fall prey, like, okay, I've seen so many people over the years at various conventions, but then because I recognize, I was like, but it could have been someone else that looks like you, or like, what's so good. So I did meet you then. So Superstars in Colorado Springs. Good.
Yeah.
And then I would definitely remember Rembrandt lady here, but
it's but John does a lot of traveling, so he's all over the place talking.
Yeah. So do you attend conventions at all, Kathleen?
I'd like to more. I made it out to LTUE, which I did theirs the year they had it online too, and absolutely loved it. So I was really glad I could make it.
Because I've taught there the last 3 years, I think, and I'll be there again this year. That's a very fun conference. Yeah, that's the week after Superstars.
And John, you have to send us there because of the number 42, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely good for that. I mean, I was there because LTU was 42 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, so I've been good friends with them since early on in both of our conferences. So maybe that's great. So hopefully you can make it out to LTUE again in Feb, so I can meet you there, and then we'll obviously see you in April for the workshop week and the event. But because if any of you come to LTUE or Superstars or then I'll work out getting you on to various panels as well, to help get you that kickstart, on getting people to know you. And it is a big deal at both those conferences to be a winner in Writers of the Future. And then LTUE also has the artist track where Tremini, who's the one that runs that track, is a winner this year in volume 41. So she'll be there running the track. And we have one of our judges is one of the main people there too at LTUE. But it's, just wherever we go, if you come, we'll do everything we can to help, give you that extra, we're always doing this fly, trying to help get you going on whatever track. And if you want to meet somebody, introduce you just to help get that going, because whatever can be done to get your voice heard above the other din of millions of others wanting to get their break, we'll absolutely do.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear, John, and I'll follow up with you about that. I will be at Superstars in February, and actually, if you know the anthology that the conference puts out, I have a story appearing in that.
Good for you.
So yeah, love to do anything I can.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely talk more about that later on. And then if Rembrandt lady gets out and goes to, like I said, LTUE or any place else, and then just as a winner, we automatically get you at pro badges at Dragon Con or at Salt Lake City Fan X, and then we can also help you get into other local shows as help you with how to do that. The shows that are more nearby to where you are. And obviously Kevin can help you too. They're being in Denver because you're right by where he is. Mm-hmm. And then we can get, if they have where you are there, Kathleen, I know they got the biggest ball of yarn in the world not far from you. And they got the biggest ball of rubber bands also. So that's pretty good. So
I've been to Springfield. It's been a decade or so, but I was there actually on a radio gig.
I was born in Wichita. I was born in Wichita, Kansas. And so, and I was raised there, and then went until at 7 years old. Then we went to Tucson, Arizona. But I was there in Kansas, so that Midwest is my roots. So I know all about the biggest balls of yarn and rubber bands and all that jazz.
I was just
Maybe it
born
should
in
be
the
called.
swamp.
Maybe it should be Stringfield instead of Springfield. Big ball of string.
I'm not going to go with that one. They're pretty proud people over there. So
Yes.
but,
So tell me, Kathleen, you don't have to incriminate yourself, but have you seen the biggest ball of yarn or the biggest ball of rubber bands?
I haven't been up to see it yet. I may have to put that on my travel list.
Oh man, absolutely. It's bucket list material.
Lord. I've been through that. I don't think I'm going to go see that next time. I'll just keep driving.
Okay.
Look, last time I went up to see y'all, Utah, I had to stop off at Devil's Mountain just so I could see the Close Encounters thing. It's I was like, what? I recognize this thing. Like, I know this mountain from somewhere. What the hell is this? And then I seen the name of it. I was like, oh, that's from Close Encounters. Let's go take a look. You see stuff like that. I had lunch at the Great Divide. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, there is a little hole-in-the-wall gas station restaurant thing at the Great Divide. They got one of the best hamburgers, chili dogs I've ever eaten in my whole life. I was stunned. So I'm just telling you, if you're there, and it didn't kill me either. So that's a real plus. I was surprised. I've done a lot of tramping across Interstate 10 and Interstate 20. So a lot of highway driving there and here and there.
So do either of you guys have like web pages or websites that people can like find you and get to know you and chat with you? Girls first.
Mine is KathleenPowellWriter.wordpress.com.
Good. And Mike?
Mine is www.strick.land. So that's my last name, just with a dot in the middle. Strick.land.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
I always tell people you should always make your domain names as short and as easy to remember as you can. It's somebody asked me what is yours? I said www.uprn.com. What? Like, yeah, it's easy, it's fast. But we own a bunch of them for different things.
Yeah. So when they go to the pages, then so Kathleen, what are they going to find if they go to your website?
There will be a list of the awards I have so far and a little about me with my bio. And there's not too much there yet because I just finished it today. So
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Good.
That's what
In
matters.
preparation for today, which is awesome, smart.
Yeah, see, because next time I see you, I'll put it on I'll bring it in the room with us.
Yeah. And then do you have any downloadable stories yet?
not yet.
Okay. That might be something that'd be good to do, just like one of your stories that you're willing to share so people can find out what you write. Not obviously not the story that's in Writers Feature Volume 42, but if you've got anything else too that like that you're proud of, get people an opportunity to find you, and then probably and you can, after this, you can write and I can give you some more different tips of where to go to be able to offer a free download in exchange for email. Start building up an email database, because that's how you're going to, whether you go traditional or indie, because traditional now they're really pulling in their pincers on looking for new talent. They're like going for their top authors and just doing them, and not so much the mid list or the new names, unless you got something that you can really bring to the table. Like, well, I got 50,000 names in my email database, or I've got social media where I've got 20,000 followers, that type of thing. Then that'll make you stand out above others that say, no, I don't do that stuff. That's your job. And because the job is kind of like changing here. So write to me after this and I'll give you some contacts of how you can, like, if you got something like that to offer as a freebie, and the same thing to you, Mike, as well, to build up that database of your names, because you've got your newsletter. Like, how do you build your newsletter?
You mean in terms of readership?
Identity, email to.
So, I mean, I built up, it's on the Substack platform. So some of the subscribership has come from there in terms of growth, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Because that's the main thing, is like, how do you get, email marketing is still the best marketing, because that's, people have opted in, they want something from you. And that's how they can find out about it, is by getting that email. Then you can tell them, okay, here's the next thing. But if you've got your Substack, then that's also a way that you're getting the news out about yourself. But then whatever you can do to grow that Substack so that, say, yeah, okay, I've got a Substack with, I got 20,000 followers or 10,000 followers. It makes a big difference for a publisher to want to take you on, because they don't want to just, hey, I like that. So it makes, just makes a difference on somebody willing to support you, because they see it's not going to be all on them to carry that weight. And then you can pull up Kathleen's website too.
I was just getting ready to look. What was it again, Kathleen?
KathleenPowellWriter.wordpress.com.
Okay, hopefully I won't forget it as I'm going along. Actually, you know what? Do me a favor. You can put it in the comments right there. See the comments section in there? I'll let you type it in there for me. It's no, yeah, because that way I got them. Now they'll be in the system next time I see y'all, so we can pull them up. Mike's came right up, no problem. Nice, clean, worked nice too. I like seeing clean, easy sites, Mike. It's a plus.
Yeah, I also use WordPress, Kathleen, by the way.
Yes, it's people get sometimes you get a little crazy with their websites.
Yeah,
functionally clean. That's what people like to see.
Yeah, but there's a link right on there to access my newsletter for anyone who wants to.
Oh, good.
For that.
Yeah, because I had well, you can post it in the comment too, because both of these will go out to the audience as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll go out to the audience as well. I just had picked it up a different way. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. Let me grab this. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna cheat a second. Sorry, guys. I'm playing with something while we're.
And for those of you guys, while Joe's pulling the stuff up there, if you're not familiar with the Writers of the Future, go to writersofthefuture.com. That's a one-stop shop. We have the free online workshop. We've got a podcast. We've got the writing contest and the art contest. We've got a forum. It's one of the best science fiction forum for like 3 or 4 years now in a row. And it's just, if you're a writer or an illustrator, take a look and see what the rules are, and you can just submit. The worst that's going to happen is that you get an email saying, thank you very much, submit again. And the best that'll happen is you get a phone call from Joni Labaki. And with that, what was the call like when you received it, Kathleen? How'd that go?
Who is this Joni person I always hear about? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so when Joni called me, I've actually had 3 phone calls with her that she got to call and tell me, because I've been finalist 3 times, and the last one was the one that won. So I always love it when she calls, because as excited as I am to hear from her, she is even more excited to call me. So it's just wonderful to have her kind of hype me up and be like, you did it, you did it, you did it. So it's absolutely marvelous.
Well, that's good. And Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I had no expectation that I would get a phone call because of how quickly I wrote that story and submitted it. So it was a complete surprise. I happened to be sitting on my patio reading Stephen King's memoir on writing, and I was specifically reading a passage about how he got a phone call about from his editor publishing Carrie, phone call out of the blue, and literally right as I was reading that, my own phone rang, and it was Joni with my own big news out of the blue. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's very cool, because you both have such good stories, which is a lot of fun.
Wow, look at all that silver. That's awesome.
I know. Look at all this, man. Honorable mention stuff. We're gonna have to watch her, Mike. She's gonna try to be famous, man. Keep an eye out on her.
She already is famous. She'll just be more famous now.
We'll just have to keep an eye out. Christopher, no, this is actually Kathleen's site. Yeah, Mike's was the first one I had up. They're both in the chat, so y'all can find them if y'all want to go check them out. The nice part about them being in the chat, they're in there for life now. For as long as these archives are online, they will always be in there. Nobody takes them out.
Yeah,
and we don't edit them out or anything like that. We leave them in there, and mainly because people forget sometimes. And you know what? It was in the archive. Let me go back and look.
That's right.
I'm sorry about that. Somebody set my alarm off. That must mean it's time for the show in, because the dogs know what time I get off air, believe it or not. So you notice they've been in the room with me the whole time being quiet, and now all of a sudden they're like, no, Daddy, it's time to get your butt off of air. It's almost like they know. Oh, this is the story we were talking about earlier, right? This is okay. It's got to be famous. I always like meeting famous people. Okay, now I got to get out of here. I forgot where I was at. Sorry, guys. I got lost there for a minute. Oh, bring us back, so then we got to get out of here. It was great talking to both of y'all. I can't wait to meet y'all. And if I know Carmen, he'll torture y'all somewhere along when we get closer, because we start bringing on 4 at a time, so everybody gets to meet each other. You know, it's more about y'all talking to each other than it is us talking. It's just for just so you get to know who's going to be there, and that way you can also watch the other videos, and you get a good idea of who the other winners are right off the bat before you even get it. Before you actually even meet them in person, you kind of get an idea of personalities and stuff. We started doing it about 2 years ago. It seems to work really well. So
it does. And then what's going to be good too about this show here is if everybody smiles at the same time, I'll do a screen cap and post about that. We met our first 2 winners from Riders of the Future Volume 42. So Joe, can you smile?
What the hell, man? You're not charged for smiles, man. I'm sorry. You know,
okay, good. Got
it. I told that to a lady a couple of weeks ago somewhere. She goes, "You charge for smiles?" I said, "Damn right." So there ain't nothing to smile about in this world. I charge for a damn smile. And she looked at me like, "How much?" I said, "Just kidding, sweetie." Just kidding. I didn't actually mean it. I was just kidding. But it has been really nice to meet y'all. I can't wait till we catch up with y'all and get to see y'all in LA. It's always, I'm telling you, y'all going to enjoy yourselves. I'm not going to tell you it's not hectic, because there's a lot going on. And so you're going to be going. But you're going to get to experience a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And some of which we'll talk about next time I see you, which I didn't want to talk about today, but we'll talk about next time I see you. There's some other stuff that goes on that you're going to have really fun. And no, Dean, I've told y'all before, I can't tape it. John already threatened my life about that the first year I met him. I said, Jen, you got to let me tape this and turn it into classes. He's like, no. I was like, damn. Anyway, guys and girls,
you can take the online workshop, which has a lot of what they're going to get. Just they get the next level up as winners now. Anyway, so you two are ones I was most looking forward to meeting, because I've seen your news from Stricklandia, Mike, and I was so impressed with that. And then your story, Kathleen, of how you were inspired by the Hubbard essay, and then you used that to be able to write your story that you submitted and you won with it. That was, and the fact that you've been working at this thing for so long. So that was really good too. So I'm so happy to be able to meet both of you today.
Yeah, so am I. So can't wait to see y'all again. I know we're going to get out here. Lovelace, Halloween, you know what? There's a show coming on in about 30 minutes. Catch up, ask that question in there. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer you. There's some crazy hosts on that show, and I'm sure they'll have no problem answering that question. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Author's Quill on United Public Radio. Of course, as I say every week, any moans, groans, gripes, or commissioner bitches, please write to Michelle DeRoche. She loves to hear from everyone. Good night, everybody. Dude.